This dress is gonna be good, right? Yes, that's fine. Suddenly I have revelation yesterday. Oh,
Best to go out on the boat, anyway, I'm Diane's sister. Yeah.
hi, nice to see you. Good to see you. Nice to meet you. Thank you for all of the just giving friends.
Does anybody need any coffee or banana bread?
Yeah, Fern, go for it. Hello. Hello. Yes, it is. If you feel like you need a chair over here, feel free to bring a chair or wrap a chair around. But come and join us.
Come and join us.
Come and join us.
Aloha. We're going to start over here.
I don't understand how. He's the guy with the voice. Get it? I know.
We're going to start over here.
If you make a circle right over here, that was good. All right. Thank you. Does that make a difference? Yes. Yes? Okay. Thank you very much. That was Susan Floyd, our kumuhula for our halau, Laupula na Lake Kupua of Kauai. And it's my great honor and pleasure to greet you all here today at this very beautiful and heartfelt memorial celebration of life for Roger Harris. And I would like to introduce our friend and mentor, Serge Kahili King. For those of you who don't know, Serge is the founder and the director of Huna International, which is actually the founder of our halau, Lahula na Lei Kupua o Kauai. And a lot of the people here are from the halau, and we're going to be performing for all of you later. And Serge lived here for 20 years and then moved to the Big Island in 2006. And he's lived on the Big Island now for 20 years, be 20 years. And with his wife, Gloria is she's the power behind the scene. Gloria is a wonderful healer and leader, and when I really have issues, I call Gloria too. And my name is Fern Merle Jones, and I'm on the board of directors of an International, along with my husband Michael, and any other board members here? Susan, and Serge and Gloria. And so now, Huna International is centered. Its headquarters is on the Big Island, but we are an out branch and doing the work of healing and sharing the philosophy of Huna And so without further ado, I'd like to turn this over to Serge, who's going to be leading this. And Serge was a very close friend of Roger's, as well as Diane's. They all lived on the Big Island for many years together. And so this is Serge Kahili King.
I'm going to just start with a little bit of background. Is that not too loud? Not loud at all? All right, how's that? That better? Oh, wow, okay. It's like kissing. Yes, my name is Serge Kahili King, but for those of you not too familiar with that, I'm not Hawaiian by birth. I'll share that. I am Hawaiian by adoption. And what is interesting in this beautiful place here, you see that mountain over there, there's a valley. The first mountain in the line there is a valley before the big mountain. In that valley is where the Kahili family used to live. And after the World War ended, then a lot of Hawaiians from the whole states moved to mostly California, but a lot of other places on the mainland. And there, where when I was 18, I met with the Kahili family, and I was adopted into their family, which is where the Serge Kahili comes from. So that's my background with this. What I'm going to do right now is a little bit of talking, small short chant before we move out along there to what we're going to do in the remains of a great friend. First of all, there are all different kinds of ways of thinking about living and dying, life and death. Everybody has a right to their own way of thinking, which way they decide or which way they've been taught. So there is no one right way, but there are different ways that different people have of thinking and of sharing and of telling about it. So what I'm going to do is an ancient Hawaiian chant about this kind of thing we're here for. And at the end of that chant, then the others in charge can lead us to where we're going to do. So the chant is not very long, but I'll explain it in English when I finish it. E moe ale, e moe ae, e moe a, e moe ae, ka lai kahiko kina, I ka mohana ho honu, eli ho I ke kai pahiwa, e ke kumohana, aia ka la, e moe moe a. That's so close. Dream a good dream. The sun is in the west. Far, far in the west. Going into the ocean. The deep ocean. The sacred ocean. Dream a good dream. Mama.
Right. So we've learned many chants and many experiences and adventures with Serge and Gloria when they lived here on the island. Michael and I joined the organization in 1988, and we were ordained to be leaders, Alakai, in the organization in 1989. And then I had the great privilege of traveling with these people to Europe on several occasions and other places where we did trainings and did healings and did a lot of work. And Susan, of course, developed into the master practitioner of Lomi Lomi massage, which several people here have studied with her, and I did as well. And I traveled with her also as her assistant and traveled to Europe. And then I'm just going to give you a little background because I don't know what we're going to do now until we move out there. Where's Jenna?
We're watching for
Oh.
the canoe to come.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's the canoe that's already
No,
here.
no.
They're bringing
Be
it
right there.
to
They're gonna come all the way
All
around.
right. So should we talk a little bit longer before we walk out to the pier?
You absolutely can. We are going to walk out there. I haven't even seen him in the Ba'a yet, so we have time.
Okay. Okay, good. So I'm going to ask Susan, is there anything you want to talk about the early years of Una International here? About Roger?
But I thought that was part of the remembrance.
Okay, yeah, we're going to talk about Roger later.
So next is
We'll come back.
Pico Pico.
That's,
Pico breathing.
we can do pico breathing. Like that? Yeah.
No, he's
Do you want to lead pico breathing?
Sure, pico breathing. There are a lot of techniques that we teach. A lot of techniques for self-healing, a lot of techniques for self-healing, a lot of techniques for helping to heal others and helping others heal themselves. And one of the principal things to do is very, very simple, and it's called pico. And this in Hawaiian refers to putting your attention on a specific part of something or spot of something. So one of the means of pico is you inhale with your attention on the top of your head and exhale with your attention on your feet, below your feet. What happens when you're doing this and you're shifting your attention is that the natural energy of your body moves from higher up down through your body to where you're putting it for the second exhale. And then you can make it even shorter for doing different kinds of healing of your body itself. When you do a pico, you start with attention on a place that hurts or that isn't functioning, and then you put your attention on something soft and willing to accept energy, like the ground, the sky, the tree, as you exhale. And then there's a movement toward that which relieves tension, which greatly helps the healing. So that's pico.
Well, let's just...
Let's do a pico. From up to below and from inward to outward. All right. Put your attention on top of your head. Take a nice deep breath. Put your attention below your feet in the center and exhale into the earth. Now put your attention on your navel. Nice deep breath. Put your attention on this group of people in this area that we're in as you exhale. That's the second group. If you have a place on your body or a situation in life that you think needs healing or relaxing, right now, make it your choice. Inhale with your attention on that. Exhale on something beautiful, soft, wonderful. Fine. Do as many of those as you like. Also for 2 or 3 years before we get into what comes next. Well, this is, what we do is a form of shamanism, Hawaiian shamanism, which means that we deal with a lot of things in this world, outer world, and with things in the inner world. And there is a place that's in tradition here in Hawaii and the Pacific. You may even have seen the movie. It's called Bali High. And for the Polynesians, that's a real place in an invisible world, invisible to us, but it's just really close. So that's one of the practices that we have, is how to visit Bali and not only help, but learn.
Often people who have passed away often we meet people who have passed away that may not have known why they died or where they were, and we help them to find their way.
So one of the things those of us who have know how to use this for a while is to see how Roger is doing.
So if you feel aligned to doing that, or you could also communicate with other people who may have departed. We're dealing in ideas of no time. So all time is now. So it doesn't matter if you have a relative who passed away 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or last week. You can connect with their spirit in Valley High just by your intention of doing that. So that's one of the beautiful things about Huna, is that it is very open and limitless. And so if you want to right now, you can do some of that pico breathing, and you can allow yourself to have some time to go to Valley High. You can fly, you can go by boat, you can just transport yourself. It's one of those things. In Huna, you can just be there. So whatever you need to be there, if it needs to have any effort or not. So you can do some pico breathing. So inhale with your attention at the top of your head. Exhale with your attention below your feet, just to get a little bit of grounded here. Do that once or twice. Then you can inhale with your attention. Let's just do it a different pico. Let's inhale with our attention at our heart. And let's exhale with our attention going to this magical place called Valley High. And it can look like anything that you imagine it to look like. It can be. So inhale with your attention at your heart, and exhale with your attention at Valley High. And when you feel like you're at Valley High, you can connect with the spirit of Roger, check in on him, see how he's doing, especially if you're somebody who knew him. But if you're somebody who didn't know him, or you might have a calling, you might feel a calling to check in with your mother, your father, your grandmother, somebody else in your family, child, somebody who has passed away, who you feel particularly attuned to connecting with, and allow yourself to just take a moment to see them. How are they doing? What are they doing? And some part of their spirit will connect with you. If they don't connect with you, you won't have an experience. If you're having an experience, you're connecting with them. So you can take that time and make that connection. All time is now. No past, no future. Just this very moment. In this very moment, connect with those that you love and care about, who may not be with us in this reality. They live in another direction, is what we say in Hawaiian. When you pass, you live in another direction. You just take a couple of moments and know that you can always come back to this. You can always come back to the space when you need to or want to. And then allow your spirit to come back. Inhale at Valley High. Exhale here and now in your heart. Inhale in your heart. Exhale below your feet. And here now. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay.
One more. You also imagine a beautiful field of love right here around all of us and give it as a gift to everyone here. Mama. No, anybody who wants to can. Thank you.
Hey everybody, we're gonna wander down the pier, have a little drink of something before we go, or bring your water bottle. I haven't seen, here comes the Va'a right now, so we're right on time. Just walk on down.
Beautiful.
Because Jean is here, Jean.
Bali High? Well, it's Bali High is a not this permit. He's a good jeweler.
All right, everybody.
Mexico when I had one.
Yes. This is a Hawaiian version of
I thought that she was
Thank you.
Different places.
Joyous Juneteenth. Happy Transformation, Roger.
He's a junior lifeguard. Start, I think, at 8 or 9. So you'll see his cage pretty soon, I think. I think they need it for Dad, you love it.
You want to say Amazing Grace and you want the singing Amazing Grace.
Singing it in Hawaiian? That's one of my needed words. Certainly no amazing words.
Anybody else need an Amazing Grace copy?
No, we just need Amazing Grace.
We have Amazing Grace, we just need to acknowledge it.
Am I on your way?
Thank you.
I just want to jump.
Genesis, take over.
Makes me
Go.
laugh.
She's over there.
I don't know it at all.
You know what it's like?
No, I don't. So that's it for the guest.
Right now.
Three, two, one. Jump! No, don't jump.
That's what he feels like I want to do.
I've gotten
Right?
I've had 3 physical therapy clients from jumping, from people
Jenna?
jumping off.
Jenna, tell us when to start.
You can start
Okay.
right
Ooh, now we're going to have the Remembrance Circle. That's what's happening right now. You can stand or you can sit, but there's just the amount of chairs we've got. There's one more over there. And then after the Remembrance Circle, then we're going to do a short program of hula. Before we do the hula, we're going to do the Kalana hula, which is an exercise that everybody can do. It's kind of like goes through the 7 principles of Puna, like kind of like easy Tai Chi type style moves. Yes, Susan's going to talk about that.
It's more of a moving meditation that helps us to harmonize any space that we're in. Of course, this is a beautiful space and it's really harmonized, but we can do it with the intention of harmonizing with the inner world where our friends have journeyed to, and especially Roger today. So it's a moving meditation, very simple. The feet don't do a lot of stuff, so it's easy if you don't know it to join in with us. Yeah, we'll have fun with it.
Susan's going to lead it. So that's going to be great. And then after that, we're going to just have a quick moving of chairs, and then we're going to be doing 3 hula dances from our Lao. They're songs that Diane picked out especially, that she and Roger both harmonized with, and we're going to be doing that. And then after that, we have a real lunch that's going to be happening. So stick around. And so let's start our circle. How shall we start our circle?
First, Serge has to talk.
Okay, Serge is going to start the circle.
Which way do you want me to go?
You can go any way you like, except you can't go home yet. Or you are home. You wanna do it seated over there?
Oh, this is a talking circle. Mainly has to do with Roger, but can be anything that you want to share with people. Can everybody hear me?
Oh, yeah, can't hear.
Oh, I just want to share.
The speakers turn this way.
No?
Turn the mic towards your mouth.
Okay, that's better. That's even better for me. I can hear me better. All right, representing this, I just want to mention 3 things that stand out in my memories. One is how Roger and Diane used to go out with us hiking. And I have a beautiful photograph of 2 of them at Rainbow Falls. And they were over on our side of the island, on the big island, on the Hilo side, right? So I remember that. I can remember also, we used to share a lot of parties together. Sometimes they'd be at our place in Kapoho, and sometimes we'd be at theirs. That was a wonderful time of sharing back and forth. See, I mentioned the hikes and I mentioned the sharings. Pretty much that I'll share right now. So I'm going to pass it on.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha.
Well, my fondest memory of Roger, he would be up early and dressed in his real slick bicycle and he would ride by our cottage, and I'd be on the lanai and I'd always wave to Roger. Okay, have a nice bike ride. Off he would go. He used to ride his bike for miles. And he always was smiling.
That's such a good
So like Serge said, we did a lot of gatherings together on the Big Island. And the Big Island is really big compared to Kauai. And so you can ride your bike for miles and never...
Keep the mic right near your mouth.
Okay. So anyway, we always enjoyed getting together with Diane and Roger for parties and all the good fun stuff.
remember Diane and Roger from Kauai. I visited them once on the Big Island. What stands out to me is Roger was always so kind. I picked him up at the airport one day. Diane was on the mainland, and underneath my car something was falling off. I don't know what it was. But anyway, instead of going right home, he said, "Let me fix that." And he just got off a flight. And so we pulled up and he was so happy. And he went and he tied it up for me till I could get it to a mechanic and fix it. So that was really wonderful. Also, I shared many wonderful times with both of them. But that stands out in my mind because he was still so positive. I would have been dragging and maybe helped someone, but I would have been dragging. But his energy was just very, very up there and positive all the time.
Mahalo to you.
I have to give it away.
I did not know Roger from a long time ago. I just met him as he started in the progression of his disease and helped Diane find people to help care for him. I knew that from stories that I had heard from other people who knew them, and him in particular, that he was a very generous and giving person, and was often doing things for numerous people all around. And then I saw him as his progression, where he slowly was not able to do things for himself. And I kept reminding him, you have done so much for so many. This is your time to really grow the part of you that can receive, because I know that was it was really hard for him. And but that attitude that you spoke about, he kept all through. And what he had was, I think, one of the worst diseases. I mean, maybe ALS is a little worse, but it's hard to say. And it was physically, I remember Diane saying, "I need some big, strong people to help get him here and there." And so I helped her find that. But then also, what we learned is if you counterbalanced his weight, because he was a big guy, and that even sometimes these little Filipino women or whatever, could get him to do what they needed him to do. But especially at the end, getting him in and out of the shower, it was quite an event. And for near the end. And always, he was so grateful. Every time you did anything, he would say thank you. And it was just the sweetest experience to care for someone who was just so grateful for everything. At a time when a lot of people would, because I do professional caregiving, I see a lot of folks and a lot of people in situations not nearly as challenging as he has, don't do so good. So I just was really impressed. His spirit and who he was just came through, and it was a pleasure to serve him and Diane, and it seemed like all the caregivers that, toward the end, they just loved him, and I know the feeling because, I loved him too. He was just a very sweet being, and I'm grateful to have had that opportunity.
Mahalo be to you.
I have to go to another caregiving job, so I won't stay too long.
You have people behind you. I don't know if
This is DJ. I just want people to know that, and that's Jeannie Human. So if everybody would say their name because we don't all know one another. So, do you want to say something? This is our new wedding couple that's going to be getting married in 2 weeks. 3 weeks. Yeah. So, and Sunita and Bo. And my name is Fern. So I know Roger mostly through Diane, I have to say. And Diane has been with us since the early 90s that I know of anyway, and was involved with our group, with Huna, with our hula from when it started. And when she moved to the Big Island, was Roger in your life already when you moved to the Big Island? Yeah. See, I don't remember that, but I know they got married on the Big Island, and we saw pictures, and it was so beautiful, and I was so happy for you that you had found this man who seemed to be so giving and loving and caring, and and then I was thrilled when you came back to Kauai, and that you found a house that you could both really love and be with. So, and then I was at the blessing for the house blessing, and was just really happy for you. But mostly I knew him through what you would say about him, and so your attitude has been amazing. I have to say that you have just been a light of loving compassion and taking care of yourself too, knowing that you needed to take care of yourself and come to hula and whatever that would take, and to no small expense on all levels. So I just want to remember you in that situation as well, and to acknowledge you and send our blessings to you and to Roger.
Thank you, Fern.
My name is Michael, Fern's husband. I had most of my experiences watching through Diane and through Fern. Fern would tell me wonderful stories. I'm sorry I didn't get to know him better. I did meet him one time over on the Big Island. He was still in your house. So, I bless him. I bless you. I bless the whole experience. Life is good. Thank you.
Mahalo, Michael.
Brother and sister-in-law.
Yes.
There's stuff we needed. And here. Step into the shade over here. They knew Roger way before. Yeah.
Step in.
Girls, maybe you could let them sit there while they're reading.
All right. Okay, thank you. My name's Joel. I'm Roger's brother. And as Diane or somebody just said, my experiences with Roger are a lot different than you guys, because they were mostly when we were young and then not so much older. But I made some notes. First of all, my sister, who's 2 years older, my sister Mary Ellen, she's 2 years older than Roger. She's the oldest. It was 2 years until Roger, and 6 years until me. So that's kind of the setup. And my wife, Rhonda, is going to read my sister's memories in a minute. So my memories are mostly from Auburn, Alabama, which is where we grew up. If you've been around Roger during the fall, you probably heard about Auburn, because Auburn has a football team, and he loved to watch Auburn play football. So anyway, we grew up in Auburn, and again, they're 6 years difference. So when Roger was he was in his teen years, really, the memories that I have, and as an adult now, I'm kind of surprised that he would really even play or hang out with a 6 year younger little brother, but he did more than you might imagine. Some of the earliest memories are around sports. Again, growing up in Auburn, football was a big thing. Basketball was also something we enjoyed, and then Roger enjoyed baseball himself a lot more than I did. But we would play football and baseball around the house, either throwing back and forth to each other, or we had some cousins that lived in town, and when they would come over, particularly if it was a football weekend, we would choose up teams and we would play football in the front yard, and just had a really great time doing that. Our basketball court was a cleared area in the backyard with the goal was nailed to a pine tree, and the court was dirt, and there were some strategically placed roots that if you threw the ball the wrong place, it would go in the neighbor's yard or go out in the street, and so that was always a fun time, and I'm sure I made many more baskets than I should have because he allowed me to, but we did enjoy playing basketball and football together. Roger developed his green thumb, I think, in Auburn. The first thing really I remember is, again, he would have been a later teen because he was at least driving at this point. Our home, where our house was, our lot was very wooded, so we didn't really have opportunity for a garden there. But the university made available, so at some point in time, an open field, kind of like this field here, where they actually went in and plowed it up and laid it out in plots, and you could pay so much to rent out a garden plot for the summer. We convinced our dad to do that, and Roger and I tended that garden all summer long for 3 or 4 years, I think, and we're both very proud to be able to contribute produce to the kitchen table. A lot of squash, watermelon, cucumbers, which I don't like, but we grew green beans, basic Alabama vegetables. Roger was also into music pretty much of all types as long as I can remember, or for as long as I can remember. He had our bedrooms were adjacent and actually were part of one big room that had a divider down the middle, so we were very much knew what each other was doing in our rooms. But he bought a stereo as an older teen, and I can remember him playing records, quite a variety of musical taste. He liked blues, jazz, hard rock, you name it, and even piano music. He and Mary Ellen, my sister, took the piano and played the piano some. But I would hang out in his room sometime when he was playing music and just talk to him about the band and what he knew about them. And that love for music carried with him through his life as well. He also had a talent for playing musical instruments. The only ones that I really knew about, I guess the time that he was growing up, he played the trombone in high school, and then when he got into college, he started playing the tuba. He played the tuba in the Auburn University marching band. Auburn had a marching band that would actually go to every home and most away games back during the time. This would have been in the 70s, and it was a real tuba, not the fiberglass things or whatever they are that they have today, the white ones. I assumed it was brass, but it was silver plated and actually required to be polished, and the band leader required them to polish their instruments every Friday before the games on Saturday, or Saturday morning maybe, depending on time of the game. So I remember him out in the front yard with this huge tuba out there and silver polish and a watering hose, and I would go watch him and talk to him about playing instruments. But they wore also wool uniforms, if you can imagine that, in Alabama. I never understood why, but they were heavy wool uniforms, I guess because the later games were cold, but early games, he would come home, he would just be soaking wet with sweat. But he loved it. Okay, one last musical memory I have of Roger. I kind of mentioned a minute ago that he and my sister played piano, and I never. They took most of the lessons. I was never really musically inclined, other than I like to listen. I never took any lessons, but of course I really kind of looked up to Roger. You know, being my older brother, and amazed at all the things that he could do. So at some point, I don't really remember how old I was or how old he would have been, but I'm pretty sure Mary Ellen, my sister, was out of the house at the time, so he would have been a later teen, and I was probably around 10 or so. But he decided to teach me how to play some very basic piano tunes, which he did, and I don't know what they're called, but you know, the real easy stuff with kind of one finger. And then he put together a program and invited our parents to come sit in the living room while he and I alternated with a concert, piano concert for our parents. We were both kind of proud of that at the time. We had some, or still have actually, some family lake property that we would visit during the summers growing up. And we learned how to ski as teens, and me really slightly before that, but usually we would be up there with our parents. One year I recall that we went up there, Roger and I went up there several days early. Our parents were coming on the weekend, I guess. We were out of school, and we were hanging out, and he was old enough, I was old enough to drive the boat, so I would have been at least 14, so he would have been 20 or so. And we were just skiing and hanging out and enjoying each other. Well, the one of the skis broke. We could only ski on 2 skis. The binding on the ski broke, and so we were down to 1 ski, and we still had several days left. So it was either not do any skiing or learn how to slalom ski. So he and I spent like 2 days pulling each other and falling, pulling each other and falling, without really any understanding of how we were supposed to do it. But we both learned how to slalom ski that summer, and we're happy to be able to show our parents later when they came up that we could both slalom. So, lastly, I guess, Roger and I, again, those were growing up memories. We were not really close during his adult years. He moved around and lived in different parts of the country. We would be in touch and talk periodically, but I wouldn't say we were, close siblings. The last several years, I've been over several times to visit him, and really was happy to be able to reconnect with Roger. It was tough to watch him go through what he's been through. A couple of y'all have mentioned already how bad a disease this is. But my memory there is really, and I told Roger this, that I admired the way he approached it. I'm sure Diane did. I never heard him complain once that, why me kind of thing. He just would manage whatever he was managing. Many times he would try to do stuff he shouldn't be doing, and he would fall, or I'd get onto him and he'd get mad at me about getting onto him and so forth. But he didn't complain about the position he was in and what he was having to go through. I'll really forever cherish my fun growing up memories of Roger and my recollections of how strong and how courageous he was in battling this disease.
Mahalo, Joel.
I'm Rhonda. I'm Joel's wife, but I'm reading something that Mary Ellen has typed up for her because she can't be here. So she says, I'd like to tell you some of the things from both my childhood and adult years with Roger that I will never forget. For 4 years, we lived in College Station, Texas, while we were very young, and our dad was getting his PhD at Texas A&M. At that time, the rivalry between Texas and Texas A&M was celebrated with a huge bonfire each year before the game. We loved to go and see the students putting the bonfire logs up for weeks before the actual bonfire. Roger and I loved to swim in an inflatable kiddie pool in our yard with several young neighbors. They were little. They were like
Yeah.
4 and 6 at best.
I was not born
yeah.
until after they came back.
And Roger let us take turns, with friends and Mary Ellen, take turns riding on his kid-sized green John Deere tractor. And she mentions that Joel still has that tractor. We do. It's a little riding toy at our lake house. Roger and I learned to love root beer as kids in Texas because one of our favorite treats was a baby mug of ice-cold root beer from A&W when our parents would take us. When Dad finished school, we moved back to Auburn, Alabama, where we lived prior to Texas, and that's when Joel was born. Roger played Little League baseball in Auburn at a small park that's still there. He loved to play, and I remember going to watch him. Years later, Roger lived with Mary Ellen and her husband for a time in Memphis, Tennessee. He worked late nights, so he offered to cook some of our dinners. He had quite an imagination with his cooking, and one dish she remembered was a tossed salad, which included tomatoes, lettuce, shredded pepper jack cheese, pineapple, avocado, and ranch dressing. The salad had a flavor all its own. But it was so helpful for him to make meals that were ready to eat when we got home from work, and I was always thankful. Roger loved being outdoors and loved growing all plants. The first year that Mary Ellen and her husband and their daughter lived in Indianapolis, Indiana, Roger sent several beautiful orchids. She says they were a total happy surprise, and their beauty helped her make it through the dreary winter months while she was in Indianapolis. Roger was a very thoughtful person and gave lots of attention to any gifts that he gave, and he could pick out the sweetest cards too. All of these memories make me smile, and I will always remember him with love. I miss him very, very much every day, but I know he's in a better place and at peace with no suffering.
Hello, Rhonda.
I just know Diane, and I love hearing about Roger. And I'm sorry I never got to know him.
I really was blessed to have a few wonderful hour-long moments with Roger. Diane had brought me in about a year before he decided to leave us, and I got to spend time giving him Reiki and body work and always putting on music for him. And one thing that to me just always struck me about Roger is like just a optimistic, just open-hearted, just beautiful energy that he carried with him everywhere he went. And he loved the arts. I mean, this room that I was giving him Reiki in, the room he stayed in, was full of beautifully colored, awesome art that he did for himself. And he just wanted to make the world a beautiful, musical place. And I also want to give just so much love to you, Diane, for the two of you together, but most of all, the kind of person that you were for Roger and Roger for you, because I got to witness that every time I came over to your home. And I'm just so touched by your love and his. And I feel him here too.
Karen.
Yeah. Oh, Karen, I'm sorry.
You already did. I'll pass the photo.
Hi, I'm Karen Joy, and I've known Diane and her sister Ann for a long time. I was only acquainted with Roger, but I always liked him. There's something very charming and likable about him. He was kind, he was grounded, and I love the Southern accent. I have always been partial to gentlemen with a Southern accent. I like that about Roger. my kid's father's family was from Alabama, and their uncle was Robert E. Lee Norton. Anyway, yeah, I read the obituary. I reread the obituary the other day, and I didn't realize all the talents that Roger had, the athletic and the music, and he was a writer, a couple books he wrote, as well as just being a stellar human being. And I admire you and love you so much, Diane. You've been so strong and resilient through this. And it's been a joy to dance with you and get to know you even better in hula classes. Thank you.
Aloha everyone, my name is Robert, and I've known Diane probably since like the late 90s, mid 90s, a long time ago. And Magenta and I found out that Roger loved bananas, so we made sure that he had a good supply of bananas, and in return Diane would give us grapefruits and oranges, and everyone was happy. So today, one way that I'm honoring Roger is pretty obvious, but another way, around a month ago, Diane came over and gave me 3 shirts of Roger's, and he said, oh, see if they fit, see if they work for you. So this is one of Roger's shirts.
Very nice.
And anything blue I'll just grab up like that. So yeah, I had a little bit of time with Roger, certainly went over a few times when he was housebound and did a little body work on him also, and he was always just very patient and easy to be with. So I honor you, Diane, and so happy that you have so many loving friends here.
Hello, Robert.
You have to hold this really close like that.
You sound good.
Great. Thank you all for being here. When I remember Roger, I try to remember way back to the beginning because toward the end, I think I might have loved him even more than when he was healthy because he was angelic, you know, never complained. He embraced tuna probably much better than I did about never complain and always focus on what is still working on the positive. But I met him about a year after he moved to Hawaii. He moved here in 2002. He had visited a friend in Honolulu in 2001 and said, wow, why am I living in Memphis? You know? So he sent out a lot of job applications and got a job on Kauai and moved here. And I met him a year later, and he came to Huna Talk. You know, sometimes I think Huna Talk was like Match.com almost, you know? We all hooked up together at Huna Talk. But I kind of like guys who were also into this same kind of philosophy that had brought me to Hawaii. And shortly after I met him, we had only gone out to dinner a few times. I went back to my sister Ann's house for Christmas for 3 weeks, for my birthday and Christmas. And every day he emailed me the most eloquent love note, which shocked me because he wasn't really an eloquent speaker. He was almost shy speaking, but put a pen or a computer in his hand, and he was the best writer that I had ever met. And having been a writer my whole life, but more of a journalist, not really a great creative writer, I was so impressed with him, and he was so romantic that I was in love with him by the time I came back. And then I think my first day back, he had helped somebody rescue their cat from under a house, and his back was hurting. He met me at the beach and said, oh, maybe I better lay down, my back hurts. So I said, lay face down, I'll do some kahiloa massage on you. And by the time I was done giving him a kahiloa massage, he's like, it's Valentine's Day, like next week. Will you be my date? I think I'm in love with you. You know, just from the kahiloa massage. And I have arthritic thumbs now from all the massage I gave Roger, both Lomi and Kahi. But he, was very romantic and touchy-feely. So thank you, Susan, for teaching me all the massage because I won him over. And, throughout our life, when, we were in a writer's group together, you'll hear from Sheen Rood about that. She was in our writer's group. I saved every card he ever wrote to me because not only was he the best present giver, as Mary Ellen mentioned, like very thoughtful gifts. He bought me this dress for Christmas last year. Knowing that I love Jam's dresses, he had his caregiver go online to see which Jam's dress she could order for me. And I had not worn it until today, and I'm like, that's why we're all kind of wearing purple, just because I'm like, he gave me this, I'm going to wear it for him. But the thing I miss about him most is how much he loved me. I mean, he was so romantic and so loving. Till the day he died, he was holding my hand and holding my knee and telling me thank you for letting him be at home instead of throwing him in a nursing home, which his therapist said, I can't believe she hasn't tossed you to the curb yet. I don't know why he would say that, but I never would. But I just have so many wonderful memories of us traveling together. We went to Spain for a month, England for a month, and usually when you travel with someone you fight. I don't think I ever had a fight with Roger, ever. He was so sweet and kind, and even when I would, complain about something, he would fix it, so it's a lesson to me, to continually being grateful for what we have. The fact that he was able to be grateful for every day of life until the end. And I'm so grateful to Joel and his sister Mary Ellen, who were with me the last month when he was bedridden with, pneumonia. Joel was there for 3 weeks, and Mary Ellen was there for 3 weeks and stayed with me for a week after Roger died. And when I first met Roger, I remember calling my best friend in San Francisco and said, I met this really handsome guy and he's really nice, but, I'm from New York. I'm not into these southern accents. And she said, give him a chance, because you people from up north who have never been down south don't realize southern men are real gentlemen. And he was such a, southern gentleman, and so is Joel. So my whole attitude about the South has totally changed just from knowing your family. When I went to visit them in Auburn, his parents were lovely. The college town was lovely. I am now an Auburn football fan. In fact, Andy Moore, who maybe you know, sent me a personal text saying you have to sing the Auburn War Eagle song at the memorial, and I don't really know it. All I know is I used to bet on them all the time, because it helped them win, and whatever. But yeah, if anybody wants to tune into Auburn college football, it starts at the end of August in his memory. Hopefully Auburn will have a good season. But anyway, this is my sister Ann, who has been so helpful. She's a nurse. Every person needs a nurse in their family. So she not only knew Roger from after our house was, in the midst of being burned down by Pele on the Big Island. Pele was, about to burn our house down. So we stayed with Ann. We stayed with Ann and her husband in their rental home for 3 months while we waited to see if our house would burn down on the Big Island when Pele was taking off in 2018. So she really got to know him well then, and then definitely coming to help me like twice a year. So here she is helping me again. So nice to see all of you, and I really feel like it's a blessing for Diane to have her friends and the girls surrounding her in this difficult time. So thank you for all being here with her. Roger, as has already been said, was truly a welcome addition to our family as a Southern gentleman, because we're from New York and almost everyone in our family are New Yorkers, and I don't have to explain what that is, but he was a lot less aggressive and loud than most people in our family. And I really appreciated that peace and kindness that he showed everyone. He was a lovely, lovely person, and I did really treasure the time that I got to spend with him before he was sick, but also during the illness when I would come to visit. You know, I can really testify what an amazing, patient, and courageous man he was to you know, can't imagine how somebody could say thank you 100 times a day for every little thing. So it was beautiful, and he really loved Diane, and we were so happy that you had that love in your life. And I was actually jealous of all those cards and poems and romantic things that he sent, because I'm married to someone who's not, but it really was very touching, and it wasn't superficial either, even to the end, like you said. If she was going out in the evening, he'd really miss you and want to know that you were coming back to him, which was beautiful. And Diane was very devoted and caring about meeting all his wishes. So that was fantastic. Okay, thank you.
Mahalo,
Pass it to
Ann.
Blake, our neighbor, because I don't think my little sister
Blake and Roger and Diane moved in across the street from us, and that's when I first met them. Over the years, we became close and really good neighbors, to say the least. And everything that people have said about Roger really resonates with me. I feel like he's someone that I grew really close to, and that's not something that's easy for me to do. And we shared a lot of conversations on his lawn about deep things like lawn care and nature consciousness, all those things. But Roger was a good example to me of how to carry yourself in the world, especially when he had his health challenges. The last couple of years, he was really courageous, and was a perfect example of how to deal with the things in life that are difficult. But I appreciated his friendship and yours, Diane, and I miss him so, and I love him so. That's it.
Mahalo, Blake.
I'm Sandy. And
talking flower.
what I remember most about Roger is that he was always so kind and sweet, and he just cared so much about being present with himself and with other people, and really caring about the environment. And in his last year, one of the things that he loved the most was just being with friends and neighbors and having chocolate. That's one of the things that he just adored chocolate. And he was such a wonderful gardener, and every day I look at his garden and all the things he's planted, and I think of him and remember him, of what a special, kind-hearted, loving person he was. And he was always curious about what people were doing in their life, and I really appreciated that about him. And I witnessed, Diane's loving, devoted caregiving for Roger over the last 3-4 years, and she has been so present and so loving, and made this transition for Roger a much more peaceful, comfortable process, even though it was challenging for Roger. And so I miss him too.
Mahalo.
I'm Magenta, and I mostly have gotten to know Roger. Diane, I've mostly gotten to know Roger through Diane, and I just feel grateful. And through his kindness, he would come over for Thanksgiving dinner. We have a big dinner. Couldn't come over, sent food, and they would send food. And even today, I just learned that he loved chocolate. I'm still learning about Roger. I would Anyway, I've gotten to know Diane before, and just incredible how she's managed caregiving, taking care of herself. You're a real teacher, Diane, how to do this unknown territory underway. I'm so blessed to know.
My name's Fran, and I also don't know Roger well, but I honor you, Diane, for all the love and care that you gave not only to Roger, but to all of us, and the amazing example you've set for how to handle such horrible adversity. Just awful. Thank you.
My name is Solar, and we love his garden. Great to see it, and get to know him better, and Diane and all of you here. Put out, show, or demonstrate an ideal of what a great family can be. Very happy. Very lucky and blessed. Love. Hope you continue to keep feeling. Thank you for having us.
Hi, my name is Susan, and I've known Roger for almost as long as Diane. And he's an awesome person. What a blessing he was for everybody that got a chance to know him. I wouldn't be living in my house if it weren't for him. It was the realtor who found it and encouraged me to come right away before somebody else got it. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that, but there's so much more. Everybody has talked about how kind he was. You can't imagine how kind he was to an elderly woman, my mother, who was the sweetest. Whenever we get together for Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever, he was always making sure she was talked to and loved. So his big heart was so much bigger than we'll ever know. But this day is an example of gods and goddesses and God himself just up there shining down on us saying, yeah, you created a wonderful world and you're still a part of it because with every memory, he's alive. And we're going to dance for him. I didn't know he loved Kalana Hula, but we're going to dance for him. Thanks, Diane.
Mahalo, Susan. I'm Stream, and I don't know what happens when these energies we call our spirits or souls leave these vehicles we call our body. But I can feel Roger's presence here very much, not only in my heart, but in all of us and everything around us today. So, and I'm really grateful for Roger to bring this circle together because it's a wonderful reunion for some of us. When Karen and I first came to the island, invited by Fern and Michael, then they introduced us to Serge and Gloria and Susan, and Ayana was living next door. She was Janet then, and Jeannie, and who else is here? That was there then, of course, and Diane, and then got to meet Anne through Diane, and so it's been a lot of years. And anyway, so I feel very blessed with this reunion, and I knew Diane for a long time, but I didn't have Roger for a close friend, but because of my relationship with Diane, I got invited to wear my hat as a physical therapist and visited him several times. I have to reiterate what DJ said, and I mean, considering the challenges he had, I can't imagine any other client I ever worked with that was more grateful and cooperative and hardworking and just wanting to show his love for Diane, and Diane show her love for Roger, and one of the really gratifying things that I saw knowing Diane for a long time. It seems like somehow Diane got even much more healthy. Like I don't think it was until I visited Roger that I could enter Diane's house without changing my clothes. So, you know, anyway, so and I learned a lot today because I didn't even know he was a writer, and I'm a writer. One of my relationships with Gene next door here, so I'm looking forward to reading his writing. And also being from New Jersey near New York, I didn't know today, and I thought Auburn was in Georgia until today. And another celebration of life, which is either today or this weekend, is for Michael Stillwater, who some of you probably knew or knew of, and we're having a Dance of Universal Peace this evening, and we'll celebrate Roger and Michael there, and one song we'll do goes, my soul awakens in the light, and my spirit rejoices in the heavens. And that gets paired with share your love with the world.
Beautiful. Ah, well, I don't know how many of you have ever been in a writing community, but there's a kind of intimacy that evolves that doesn't happen on a tennis court. But in the writing, the lines between fiction and truth kind of blur. And I didn't fully appreciate the writer I mean, really, and I'm enjoying it more now. I think I was in such a place. I was writing a memoir about my grief, and Roger, his edits were always so fabulous to me. He just like, go deeper. Tell me more about this. What did this feel like? With so much gentleness that just really always prodded me. We also shared that we both lived in Memphis, Tennessee, and went to the same college at different times. And we shared our Southern heritage about food and cornbread and those kind of things. But I have 3 of his stories still on my hard drive. I've got to remember the names of them. That's okay. That's fine. I got it. Hang the Moon, War in Heaven, Always an Orphan. Okay? Just the titles could just kind of blow you away. But in scanning them, and I really am looking forward to going back and reading them more deeply now, I came across a passage where he often wrote as if he were a woman. In fact, in one story, he describes, I always think of the heroine as the author, and that's not really accurate, but I can't break myself from it. So he wrote himself as a brown-eyed white girl wearing angel wings, a firefighter hat, and a rainbow tutu. And I can really see that, okay? But I came across this passage that I really have to share with you. I knew these things because of the endless summers that I'd spent in the hospital's hospice wing. Eventually, Mother went home in an angel-shaped urn, while I took a yellow cab and a snort of schnapps from the driver, without tears. I scattered Mother's deafness and burnt bones over the pounding sea. Riding on a strong huff of wind, her ashes blew back in my face and had the last word as usual. Here's to Roger and the last word as usual.
Hello, Gene.
Hi, I'm Ayana. Still Janet, but called Ayana lots of times. I also did not know Roger, except now I feel I do. And I'll just say 2 things. I'm so grateful to know you again. I was acquainted, didn't know you very well, but from the early days of Aloha International here on Kauai, and was happy when you moved back and joined our hula. And I'm just have tears in my eyes, just so grateful for Roger and how he loved you. And what a beautiful thing that is to see all over you. That's one thing. So thank you, Roger. And the other thing is, I'm the last one here, sitting next to Serge, but who I'm so grateful to see Serge and Gloria again here, and Susan is here. I am so inspired in this circle to be a better person. I didn't know Roger, but now I feel like, wow, I'm gonna watch my P's and Q's. You know, I am gonna really try, yeah, to be more brave and more gentle with myself. And Gloria shared with me some beautiful Huna things just now to help me in my life.
One of the things I do is bring big people together. And I am very pleased and honored to have been the one to bring Diane and Roger together in marriage. And the where and how it happened, well, how it happened, you know all that. But where it happened, the most romantic one I've ever done. Imagine yourself a Japanese hut made of wood, sitting on a Japanese bridge, Japanese style bridge, over a stream, in the gardens of a Hawaiian queen, Lily Okalani. And there they were, being brought together in one of the most beautiful places on earth, two of the most beautiful people I've ever known.
Robert, do you want to say anything? Yeah, okay. I don't know. I think we're at the point of doing Kalana Hula now. Right. Susan's going to lead. And then we're going to have a short, very short break while the hula girls put on the hula skirts. And then we're going to come and do the dances. And then we're going to have lunch. So it's worth waiting for if you can, because they're beautiful dances and everybody's worked hard.
So should I hand you this?
Start. Okay, so yeah, you can be sitting down and do it with us just like Roger did, or you can be standing up. The feet don't have a lot to do, they just have to be able to pivot, and you don't go forward very far or you'll lose balance, believe me. Just a slight movement, then we go to the right. Kalana means to things that are releasing, so this is a releasing of patterns that we don't want anymore. So it's a different kind of hula. Everything in hula starts with the right foot, but not in this. We start with the left side. So it's changing patterns. What else? Okay, so the hands are telling the story, and the story is about water, about how water is so flowing. So we're going to be creating moving energy. It's a moving meditation. Eyes are open. First time Serge taught me, my eyes were closed so I could focus on what I was doing. He said, this is a moving meditation. So I opened my eyes, and yeah, it does help. So it's mostly with water. We're going to start out with first just getting our bodies in alignment. So we bend our knees a little bit, and straight spine, shoulders are down. And like the tikis, the carvings, the key, we put our hands at our hip socket, so the angles of the arms and the legs are the slight bend, so energy can flow freely through them. Then we do some pico breathing, attention on the crown as we inhale, attention on our navel as we exhale. Just get our bodies a little bit relaxed, and as they relax, then they get energized. Good thing, huh? If we put our attention a little bit above our head and a little bit below our feet, we increase that flow of energy around us. That's our Aka body, our Kino Waka. We don't end at our skin. Our bodies continue on through the cosmos, so they have no end. So put our attention just above and below. Feel that greater part of us. Put it maybe a yard above and a yard below. And then put your attention, as you inhale, about a mile above. Get brave. stretch the attention way up and way below, deep into the earth as we exhale. Those parts of us are very real and they are receptive to what's going on, so we can tell what's up there in the clouds and the stars. We can tell what's down below us, deep into the earth. All the rocks, all the lava, everything going on around us is a part of who we are if we take the time to put our attention there. So, high above, far below, in between, and all around, that's us. Take just a slight motion to the right and the left, just to feel that upper body move along with the physical body. So we have an awareness of the greatness of us. The us that's connected to all the universe. So when somebody is hurting on the other side of the planet, we know we're connected. We can help. We don't have to be there. Okay, so now we're going to make a circle, starting with our fingertips together. Reach out and around, and bring the fingers back together. That's the start. That's the beginning of Kalangu, this trek. That's the ritual. Now we're going to honor all the elements before we move into the element of water and flow of water. So we reach up to the sky and bring the energy of Ahi to us, fire. Become one with the spirit of Ahi, the spirit of fire. Bring it to your neighbor. Then reach out to Makani, the wind. Bring that spirit of wind inside of you. Be one with that moving. Breathe it inside your head. Then reach out to the waters of the world. Waterfalls, the ocean, the lakes. Bring the spirit of water inside. We're mostly water, so it's just remembering who we are. And now Pohaku, reach to the earth and bring that slower moving energy of stone inside, like our bones and our teeth. And with the left hand, reach out to La'au, the plants of the world. Look around us, so many beautiful plants, so many healing plants. Bring that awareness inside, that healing. Then reach out with the right hand. Animal kingdom. All the big ones, little ones, and in between ones, the land, the sea, and the air. How much wisdom they have if we would take the time to get to know them. Bring that energy inside. And then, Tanaka. Reach out to the wonderful animals of human beings around us. And bring our special quality aloha, of being able to choose love. It's human being quality. Bring that inside. Okay, so that was the 7 elements. Now we're going to move, especially as different forms of water. The first one is water coming down, rapids coming down from the mountains to the sea. Okay, that's the ocean. Out. And when our hands get the farthest away, form a fist, a light fist, and bring it back to us. So we're reaching out and returning and bringing that energy back. And we do it 7 times, counting the 7 principles so we don't have to think 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's Ike Kala Makia Splash under the rocks as we come down, so we'll go down first. Now that we're at the ocean, it's the rolling waves, so the hand of like this, come back. Imagine that you're at the base of a waterfall and your hands are just floating toward that water, and you reach out and you grab some of that flowing water, the mana of that water, and you bring it back to your navel. To the other side, we start to the right. Now it's the tides, tide, that rise and fall each day. Bring it back to the navel. Imagine that's also our emotions that rise and fall. Everything's same on this side. Now it's lily pole, it's a flying fish. And we have little flying fish that are small and they kind of skip the top of the waves. And in the winter we have the big ones, the whales that jump right out of the water. So imagine whichever one you want, your arms come together, out, like waves, back. Don't use your imagination too strong now. This is heavenly rain. So your hands are at your side. This is the waters that evaporate us. They form clouds that get heavy and they run back to the earth. Now we put our fingertips together again for the closing. This is a haipule, a form of prayer. Pule means prayer, haipule means prayer about all the elements. The ha is what we've been doing. We've been breathing, building up the energy. The e is words, so we find the words of our prayer. What do we want to direct this energy toward? So in your own mind, speak the words that you want for this day and add a little prayer that we all feel a little bit closer to Roger and that he lives in our hearts here on earth so we can be good like Roger. So we can take that quality that we so much admire and make it part of our daily life. So speak those words in your mind. Hapu, part of Haipule, is to image forth, find a picture or a symbol that matches those words. See them now. And lay is the action part, movement. And our action is going to be symbolic right now. We are going to make another circle which symbolizes reaching into the unseen world and bringing those prayers out here where they can be experienced. So make that circle now. Bring them back together like you're holding that prayer. And we chant the Alma chant. Ask for help from higher self to manifest these prayers, these blessings. One foot out, hand over hand, we are pow.
Pow.
Mahalo, everybody.
Mahalo, Susan.
Yay. Thank you, guys.
Sir.
I'm not sure where Karen wants us to dance.
So ladies, put on your two outfits. And in about
We're doing 3 dances by our Lehua Muhula Kavaikapu Kalani Hewitt. We met Mo Hewitt back in, the first time back in around 1993 when he was the composer of the luau at the Kauai Coconut Beach Hotel. And Susan went to an open audition and she didn't get to be in the show, but she did get to meet him and become really close friends. And during that time was when we, under the leadership of Serge, were doing workshops several times a year at the Coconut Beach Hotel. And so this started a relationship, a friendship between us. And then at some point, Kavaikapu agreed to do a little bit of teaching with us. And so the first thing that he came and he lectured us about dreams, Hawaiian dreams, and what their significances were from his family. And then he talked some about Hawaiian values. And then over time, he agreed to actually teach us a hula, which is the second hula that we're going to do. During that time also, Diane worked for Weekend. Did you work for her? And was doing filming. And so she wound up filming him on several occasions, as well as filming us doing our Aloha International, Huna International stuff. And so that's how we kind of first really got involved with Diane. So this brings us way back. The first hula that we're going to do is called Waimaka o Poliahu. And it's a song about the goddess Poliahu, who's from the Big Island. Poliahu is not a goddess who lives in the volcano or lives in the mountain. She is that. She is the personification of the ice and the snow on Mauna Kea. Kavaikapu is particularly entranced by the stories of the Hawaiian goddesses and how they relate to human experience, and especially the kauna, the underlying meanings, the deeper meanings. And so several months ago, many months ago, Diane came to me and she said, when Roger passes, I would really like our halau to perform Poliahu, because it really reminds us that love never ends. Yes? And so in this song, Poliahu starts off, she's very unhappy and lonely because her lover, who came from Kauai, Aipohi Kupua, has left her. And she feels the loss of him and all of the memories that they had, and that's all gone. Those are the first three verses. In the third verse, particularly, she talks about that the memories are all around her, bringing buckets of tears. And then somehow between the third verse and the fourth verse, she has an epiphany. She has a revelation, a realization that those memories that are all around her are hers. They don't have to be unhappy memories. They can be beautiful, wonderful memories of the things that happened. And that she can hold those memories dear inside of her. And that's what she does. And that's what Diane wanted to remind everybody about, as well as herself. Okay. Laimaka o Poliahu. So the second song is the song that we first learned, the first song we ever learned from Kawai Kapu. It's actually his most famous song. It's been recorded over 60 times by different artists. It's called Kawai, yes. Kawai Hua Ala Kahunua. And it talks about the waters that we were just dancing about, the waters of life, and about how the rain falls and then the hua blossom grows, sacred blossoms. They fall into the sea where they dance playfully along the waves, and then they spread love throughout the land. So the kauna of this song, which he didn't teach at that time, but he did share with us, so I can share with you, is that it also is about a baby that is fertilized into the womb of the mother and grows and plays inside of the mother and then is born and comes out and brings love, which is why we all have our children, is to bring love into the world. So that's the second side. Now, this song, each verse is repeated twice, and on the repeat, he tells the story of the rain falling and the lehua blossom. He tells that in English, so you can listen for that and hear it.
The waters of the sea evaporate and become the rain, and the rain falls to the earth and brings new life. This song is for you.
The last dance that we're going to do is called Aloha Hawaii Ku'one Hanau. This is an amazing, currently popular song. Talks about all the elements that make Hawaii so very special. Talks about that Hawaii is like a pearl, beautiful pearl necklace that's an adornment to the heavens in the Pacific Ocean. And it talks about how we have everything in Hawaii that you need. So we have the food that grows from the land, we have the water that comes out, and we have the great spirit of the people. And so we ask that this land and its people and all of us be blessed. Aloha Hawaii. This is Natalie I.E. Kama'u who's singing this.
Ona